numbers flashing bright, Gamestop rising, Bitcoin taking flight, no smoke and mirrors, just pure market might. We're changing the game day and night. They said we couldn't, but we're proving them wrong. Together we're building a financial song. No hype, no lies, just genuine worth. We're shaking the system, giving birth to a diamond hands revolution, breaking free from their institution. Gamestop Bitcoin leading the way. We're here to From retail shelves to digital gold, a new era story being told. No suits can stop this tidal wave. We're riding history, brave and brave. They laughed at first, but now they see the power of our community. No flash in the pan, we're here to last. We're writing the rules of the financial past. To a diamond hands revolution, breaking free from their institution. Gamestop Bitcoin leading the way. We're here to stay.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hold on one second. Hi, Manuel. What's up? Hello. Edward? I think I recognize you. Forgot. But welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in. Not much here, you guys. Like, I've been kind of nothing much going on. Until it's going on, right? Who knows? Okay, so let me just show you a little bit here. But yeah, been kind of like getting the news just like everyone else, trying to keep current and all that stuff, but not so much about the stock so much. But you know, the company's doing well, so the price doesn't really, you know, entice me to look too much into it. Although I do keep track of the price, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't feel like update you guys every single time for that. But it's the weekend, so I have about a couple hours. I do need to eat at one point, but I'm okay for now. But anyway, so I was just thinking, well, there's a lot of important informations and all that stuff that I do want to share, but I feel a little bit not scared, but like hesitant to share, because I feel like nowadays there's so many chaotic news that is, you know, in the wake of assassination and all that stuff. So naturally, I'm involved in like political arena, so like Democrats versus, you know, Republicans, and it's just like becoming too much information out there, and you know, I do need to get away from that. But I think there's an important point to kind of drive home a little bit, so let me just get it out of the way, so yeah, I could focus on this thing. Now, remember, I showed you guys this picture, this particular video, and I think it's really important for people to at least listen to this guy. It's on my page, my post. I reposted when it was posted. And I really think that is what is happening right now. We're living in a psyop or something. I have no idea. But this guy, I hope it's going to kind of pull people together a little bit here. Just, take a step back and see what's going on. And then, not acting in anger or anything like that. Just calm down, calm down. Okay, let's just play a couple of minutes here. I hope it will give people a little bit more pause. So let's go.
And we all, myself included, we all have been sold the biggest con of our entire life. And this is that the problem is left versus right, or Republicans versus Democrats. And that is the distraction fireworks show that they want us screaming about while they're doing something else. And this is a magician's trick. And I'm about to really show you what Charlie, God rest his soul, has kind of exposed here. If you turned on cable news today, you go in your living room, turn it on, maybe you scroll social media, what are you going to see? The absolute fringe. They're going to show you the loudest, dumbest, most cartoonish people from the other side blasted in your face 24/7. You're not being shown your neighbor or your coworker or the mom next door who votes differently. You're being shown a bunch of professional lunatics that are handpicked to make you think one thing. And the one big thing that they want you to think is, oh my God, these people are insane. They are the enemy. That's the reason that we're going downhill. And none of this is an accident. This is word for word textbook psychological operations. And military psyops manuals literally describe how you isolate a target audience, then you pump them full of a bunch of outrage, you create a tribal us versus them identity. This is straight out of a psyops textbook. So why would we want to do this? Or why would psyops want to do this? Because once you're locked into tribal thinking, you're going to swallow anything. You're going to believe any lie about the other side. You're going to cheer when other people suffer. You'll excuse things that you would never excuse in your own neighborhood if you watched it right in front of you and it was one of your neighbors. This is exactly the playbook on how you get otherwise decent, kind people laughing at a murder on the internet. That is how you radicalize a country without firing a shot. And let me tell you something that you're not supposed to think about right now. You share more in common. You share more with somebody across the aisle than with a billionaire donor or some media executive pretending to speak for you. I don't think they want you to see that. They need you divided. They have to have you blind and full of rage, because a united, sane, connected public is the one thing that they actually fear. So how does a normal person, just a regular person, a guy who loves his kids, pays his bills, maybe argues politics at Thanksgiving, how does he turn into somebody who cheers at the assassination of a political opponent on the internet? This does not happen overnight. It is a formula, and I'm going to lay it out for you very plain right here. Number one is isolation. And this is where you don't just disagree with people anymore. You're told not even to interact with them. You don't have friends on the other side. Don't date them. Don't work with those people. You need to cut them out of your life. That is step one. And if you're paying attention, that's also step one of joining a cult. So step two is echo chambers. You surround yourself only with opinions that sound just like yours. Social media makes damn sure of this. And algorithms serve you more of what already pisses you off. And this has been proven and documented in research. So that rage gets recycled and concentrated like moonshine, like a moonshine still. And if you haven't caught on yet, this is step two of building a cult, a dangerous cult. So step three here is the tribal script. This is the us versus them narrative. Your side is righteous, their side is evil. Every single issue is framed like a holy war, and it doesn't matter if it's taxes or healthcare. It's suddenly life or death, and it's good versus evil. And if you add outrage and righteous superiority, and our brain chemistry starts going bonkers, crazy, that cocktail makes people feel morally justified in hating and silencing and celebrating violence. That is true radicalization. That's how you turn regular people into basically a sleeper agent without them even knowing. The bad news is that what I just said is only the beginning, and it's happening on both sides of the imaginary aisle. Here's the truly horrifying part. All of this, it's not just a result of some advertising and algorithms. This is deliberate, and I would stake my reputation on it. This is not just some accidental byproduct of politics. This, what we're seeing right here, is engineered step by step to keep you outraged and blind and keep you just kind of stabbing and punching at shadows. All the while, this real power, the people who profit from division, stay completely untouchable. So keep this in mind while we're talking.
Hi, sorry. But anyway, so I hope you guys see where my head is at right now. So I hope that clips will show you a little bit of the insanity that is happening, and that it's seemingly designed to keep people angry at each other, you know, even though you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be able to talk it out, no matter what the difference that people exhibit, you know, the political aisle. None of that will change your life in some, you know, just because so-and-so won doesn't mean that it changed your life in any way, shape, or form. Not immediately, at least. So you have time to pivot into whatever you need to do to protect your family in terms of asset and all that stuff. So that's just how I view it. But anyway, so in lieu of all of, you know, the whole things that are happening within this past 2 weeks, you could see that this video was spot on. You know, ever since then, what have you seen? You know, the memorial happened. I watched it. Yes, all of those rhetoric was shined through. Oh, this is good versus evil and all that stuff. And of course, you know, the rapture and all that stuff keep coming. Look, I'm not laughing at, you know, religious belief or anything. I respect whatever you believe. Just as long as it's peaceful, and, you know, if you're promoting peace, great, right? We don't want that. We don't want any war that is happening. Most of the people on this planet wants peace and quiet. They don't want any more. Trust me, you don't want more. So anyway, so that's where my head's at. Get it out of the way right now, for now. So let's get back to the stock. I know everybody, you know, is excited, including me. I know. In lieu of all that's happening, it's kind of taking away of what's happening with the stock anyway. Do we actually feel excited when all this blows up and, you know, the world is just falling apart? Of course not, right? So none of this would matter. None of this price point and all that stuff would matter if, you know, everything is falling apart. Okay. If the whole society cannot feed themselves, the whole society cannot protect themselves, and then you see a lot of, you know, it's like, let's go after people for a job too. It's like, I never could understand that, but okay, you know, that's what political violence could be too, right? Just because you have a differ of opinion, you know, it's, and then try to go after people for free speech, that's also dangerous. Eventually you can't say anything, right? Only the official narrative. And when you are in a group of people, you know, like, that's why I don't want to ever put myself in that echo chamber too much, right? If I tend to agree with everyone, I tend to look back and say, okay, let me just take a step back, reevaluate my my position here. Am I correct, or am I just go along with whatever the narrative is? Correct. So again, that's why I, even with the investment decision on what I should invest in, I typically don't really follow anyone to the T. Although, if it works, then yeah, of course, right? I learn by experiencing it by myself, right? Or, through failures that I have been investing in something that didn't pan out, right? And so you learn to risk manage a little bit better, right? But anyway, so that's just a snippet there. And let's see. So I also have a clip here. Now, this is just, again, a broad understanding of, when people think of successful people, okay, just in generality, switch from political to in generality. It's like, oh, these people must be the smartest people and all that stuff, right? And even some of that's true, but not all of it. See what I mean? But let me play this clip right here, and then it will make sense in a minute.
I'm sure you spend a lot of time with billionaires or ultra high net worth individuals. What differences do you notice in those sorts of people as opposed to your everyday person?
Very little. Very, very little. I don't think there's much difference between a billionaire and
Really?
Yeah.
I imagine to be a billionaire, you have to have an outside the bell curve personality.
No, I think, well, first of all, let's call it somebody with $100 million or more, because it's all relative. I don't know if there's a cutoff, but no, I'd say they're successful, but I think there are millions of people that I think that you are arguably more intelligent and a better critical thinker than most billionaires, at least half of them. And you're not a billionaire. Most of it is being in the right place at the right time. Most wealthy people are in the right place at the right time. Yeah, I'm not saying they're not smart. You have to be smart, and you have to be hardworking, and you have to be in the right place at the right time. That's how I'd say 75% of billionaires.
But I tend to believe that.
That's cool. That's cool to hear. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I agree with that. There's a lot of, think about it, right? If you have so much money, then what you could do with your life, and you grow up in that environment, you don't really need to think for yourself too much. You only think for yourself in a sense, like, okay, what can I do to better my image and all that stuff? That's it. It's all about image, but the actual nitty gritty that it takes for people to come from 0 to $1 million, it's like much, much harder work to become, right? But if you are from 100 million to a billionaire, you're already set for life. So that's why, again, S&P 500 people, right? The $100 million people who are just starting off with that, all they have to do is just put their money in the S&P 500, and then they're growing, right? It's nothing much there. So that's why, again, like when people are telling you S&P 500 is the only way and the only thing that you should be doing, that's the problem with the market right now. Okay, because everybody is doing that. Like the passive investor out there, they don't care. They only care, okay, because people are telling me to do this, therefore I'm going to do it. And so the passive investing hedge fund manager out there, they're just mindlessly buying those top 500 company. Doesn't matter whether these top 500 company is actually performing, it's the mandatory buy-in that they have. And so that's why you have that elevated price. Now, eventually that's going to dies off, right? Because if the liquidity is not there, let's say people are starting to take profit or whatever, then, I thought it was my microphone's not on. Then the index fund's gonna come down, right? And of course, this is why I think Warren Buffett is sitting on cash within this like couple of years already, and I think the time is pretty close, right? I think the top, I don't think this is top yet, but the top is coming though, let's see, for the index funds out there, hold on, let me see. I was looking at the top S&P 500 here. Where did it go? Okay. That's crazy, right? Like, what? But anyway, so with this, where did I go? Right here. So within a year, it's already like going crazy. Now, this is just the result of, money printing. Global money supply went up, right? So the liquidity is there. I know, like, the Fed just lowered the rate again. So again, that might kick the can down the road a little bit further before all of this come crashing down. Now, of course, like, the NVIDIA of the world and the AI company of the world too are positioning themselves to build all these data centers, and that's going to increase the energy cost for everyone, and that could be the time. I don't know, I feel like the energy company is going to do well in that, and I think that's why these big funds manager, they're probably like positioning themselves on the energy aspect of thing, right? Or energy sector. I don't see how the S&P 500 could move further unless most of the company, now there are some of the companies right now in the S&P 500 are actually owning Bitcoin, right? So eventually those companies going to get into the S&P 500. Robinhood just got into the S&P 500. Right? So I don't think they own Bitcoin. I didn't even see there. But they are related to the crypto, narrative. So my point is that, the S&P 500 will continue to go up until it can't anymore. And then the blow off top, we're still waiting on that. Why blow off top? Well, because it needs to slush a lot of retail who, thinks that it will never come down, right? So they're gonna try to pump it, and then rug pull on people. But I don't know. Again, like, you see a lot of volume kind of depleting right there. So when volume goes down, price goes up. Typically, there's a reversal coming, right? And this is a daily. But again, remember, you have the market, it seems like it's been outlawed to be going down. And so, the government just can't get enough of the money printing aspect of it. That's why, there's a few things that they can't do. Like, to even, I don't know how they would prop this up except for, money printing again, devaluing the dollar, which is good for Bitcoin anyway, right? If you look at the DXY, DXY, apparently it's perking back up a little bit. So the trend line, I keep that one. I don't know why I draw that trend line. That's weird. Hold on one second. Look at this. Okay, so that trend line it's going up. So it needs to break through that, and it's coming down. But it's just not as quickly as crypto people. Or, like, liquidity is gonna come back into the market. But still, though, the bond market is signaling that the rate gonna have to go a little bit higher for the long term. So this is what it is. Let's see. So I'm looking for this breakthrough here through this, and that's when you're gonna see, Bitcoin's gonna go the opposite direction. So when the dollar is going down in value, more or less, Bitcoin's gonna follow through. That's why you see like gold is going crazy too, right? The price of gold, and also the price of gold typically precede the price of Bitcoin going up. So I'm waiting for that too. So all in all, you know, I'm not worried about GameStop one bit, right? Because we have so much going on with our company. So not only that Bitcoin is setting up for that you know, super cycle, banana zone or whatever Raoul Paul was saying. Also too, with this liquidity, right? The traditional investor, traders, institutional, they're positioning to also take advantage of stocks like this, like names that are, you know, deemed risk on type of deal. And perhaps this is why Brian Cohen, you know, timed it perfectly to issue a warrant on these, you know, business cycle. And if you listen to Raoul Paul on, you know, crypto and all that stuff, he's saying now that the business cycle is actually extended from 4-year cycle to now 5-year cycle because of the term on the debt has been extended for another year. And the reason why they do that typically is to, you know, to give them some time to reposition themselves and all that stuff. It's actually very annoying because, you know, they're just protecting their own asset here. You guys, we don't have a free market. Like, if you think that you have a free market, you're not. You haven't been trading in a free market for a long time. It's all about how much money can these people borrow and, you know, to stimulate the economy. And typically that is only to devalue your dollar, right? And so companies that aren't, you know, thinking of ways to, I guess, if you don't evolve to add Bitcoin onto your balance sheet, you're not going to survive, right? And you have to hold that Bitcoin for a long time until people realize that, oh, the only way to beat the market is to beat the market as a company, corporation, is to have some Bitcoin, right? Because then you have a lot more buying power in 10 years or so when people are realizing that. I just, I think I had another clip here on my page talking about the S&P 500. I think I showed this clip before, but this is, again, a good demonstration of what I mean by that. Let's listen in 2 minutes.
I didn't realize that if the average year the money printer goes, call it 8 to 10%, even in the Western countries, even in the OECD nations, and the average return on the S&P 500 is, call it 9-ish%, including dividends, maybe 9.7, maybe a little less, that it means that all of the work of the S&P 500, all of the value created there is actually the money printer. That to me was startling. I mean, to think about that, the fundamental notion that in a closed system or even an open system, when you're printing money at the rate of 8 to 10% a year, everything is losing value, and the things that appear to be gaining value are not gaining value. They're just keeping you even. So you can put all your money in the S&P 500 and you're not gaining any relative wealth at all. That's a startling insight. I mean, when you really think about the entire value of the S&P 500, on average over a long period of time, not even a long period of time, is equivalent to the money printer. That's, to me, a shock. And it was a shock that said, oh my goodness, how do you think about creating wealth that is relatively greater in this economy? And you have to look hard. The other thing you can imagine is I could tell you about Sharpe ratios and diversification. I could tell you all these different things. And, you know, it's interesting. You can take a concept like diversification of risk, and at a top level, it can be a very powerful and useful tool. But if you are so focused on the mechanistic aspect of that, you can step back and miss the forest, which is in a highly diversified portfolio, it's unbelievably hard to pick up relative amounts of wealth.
That's important, by the way. Like, I always thought that. Like, the S&P 500, it's only for people who have millions and hundreds of millions of dollars already, that they want to preserve their wealth. Okay, yes. Just like you said, he's saying, like, if you want to stay equal amount as inflation, then yeah, you have $100 million 10 years ago, your buying power of $100 million stay relatively the same. Okay, if you have everything on the S&P 500, yeah, you gain 1%, but 100 million is a lot of money. Like, you could technically, you know, do a lot of things, right? $100 million if you withdraw 4 years rule, or 4 years, 4% rule type thing, where you withdraw 4%, you know, that's goodness, $4 million a year, right? You could just withdraw 4% a year, and you still have $100 million by the end of your life, whatever, you know. So again, that's the enormous amount of money that is in GameStop right now. Right? So having the capital is important, very important, much more important than these people are telling you, right? Again, the whole idea that the money in and of itself doesn't mean anything, that's stupid. Like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because with that money, of course, yes, if they're staying the same and they're not doing anything with the money for the next 100 years, do you really think that they're not going to do anything for the next 100 years? But even if they do, where do you think the money is going to go? I'm growing at what, 9%? No, not even 9%. Right now, 4% something. For the last couple of years, you could see that the compounded interest from the money generated from the interest is compounding pretty quickly, you know, because we have a massive amount of cash here we're talking about. But not only that, we're actively, you know, doing things to increase the shareholder equity. I mean, look at the recent posts here where, you know, you have tons and tons of people going into the store to buy stuff now, right? The dying company now, you know, garnering a lot of fan base that are, you know, not just there for the video games. This is not video game people. This is Pokemon people, right? So you always have these fandom to go into your store to spend money and all that stuff, right? So this is what business is all about. That this is also a way to fight inflation, okay, for the company. So the operational income is going to improve. Do you really think they're not going to ramp this up? This is scalable, okay, very scalable, and we're at the precipice of that right now, and we're ramping it up like look at this, like so we're making money hand over fist on the operational income. Not only that, we have the cushion of the economy not doing well, so now we have cash, right, building in that. And then if the economies do well, okay, like just off chance, right now we're just skewing to the point where, okay, we are trying to build a cash pile so that if the economy is doing worse from today, we're going to be able to buy it at the dip. If not, then Bitcoin is going to be that growth, okay? It's going to make us that growth factor a lot quicker than the rest of the retail businesses out there, right? Or retail company that are, you know, buying and sell things based on the physical items and all that stuff. And then on top of that, we have another growth factor on the new, you know, the power pack thing. So again, I think GameStop hit so many different buckets out there that people are not realizing that actually GameStop is diversified enough for you to, generate that wealth that you're talking about. So it's like, why am I saying that? Well, look at the operational business right now, right? We're generating $80 million a year at the moment. Not a year, sorry. $80 million last quarter. So if you extrapolate that a little bit further, I mean, let me see. My whole math just not. I feel like I'm hungry. Maybe that's the reason. Oh, so 60 million per quarter just for the operational business itself. So $250 million. Like just say 250 million. I'm sure they're gonna come out a lot higher than that. Because Christmas and all that stuff is coming. Now, of course, this year might not be doing too well, right? Because again, people are not having enough money to spend out there. So discretionary spending, everything just going up in price and nobody's really understand what's happening. I've heard people complaining about tariffs, like apparently they were ordering something online and then FedEx send them like $200 worth of, shipping and all that stuff. So it's crazy, right? So again, that's going to take out in the market of those discretionary spending type. But with Pokemon World, right, there's a lot of scalpers out there. People love these type of art. So, hey, maybe this is I guess the best recession-proof type of item. Because, GameStop has made it so easy now where, okay, if you collect Pokemon and you don't have any cash, you could immediately turn it into cash if you wanted to. Yes, for a fee, for sure, yeah. But if you are scrambled for cash, and you have a slab of, that pays you $5,000, yeah, you're gonna sell that $5,000 worth of, Pokemon card, whatever. Because again, you need cash, right? So, and GameStop will turn that into that power pack thing. So again, like there's so many things that leadership has been doing behind closed door, where the right thing actually, where value is actually created from these economic activity, when people are just going to the store and make purchases, right? And I don't think many of them, I don't know. I'm just speculating, okay, that these people are not even owning GameStop share. Okay, they don't know the stock. They just go there to buy those items, and that's actually important because I'm sure when news broke that GameStop actually earned $250 million from the operational side, what are they gonna say? Well, the reason why it's up in sale is because all of these are just crazy fans. They're just in a cult and all that stuff, right? And so again, these type of information, it's like skewed, even though like if you see evidence right in front of your face, right, they could also twist it in a way that it's actually this is a one-time thing, right? They keep saying, this is just a one-time thing. Even though, you could see that the company's improving tremendously. Right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We've been tracking this since, the dawn of day over here. So, but yeah, I'm preaching to the choir at the moment, so you guys understand that quite well. And this thing comes up again, you guys. So it looks like they're gonna forward split this thing instead of just giving us the warrant. So I don't know. Again, I guess depends on your brokerage. Either way, I have shares. I don't really care too much about the warrant. If my brokerage give me money in lieu of that, I don't know. Am I able to sue them. I don't know. But when you use their platform, right, of course, there's a term and condition and all that stuff. So you might not be able to do anything for it. But just know that that the companies will be able to raise that, that cap, more money even from whatever warrant exercise and all that stuff. I sure hope that I will be able to get the warrant and able to, trade it and all that stuff. But of course, I'm not gonna sell right away. I want to see what is going to happen. Of course, there's a lot of speculating. I would speculate that the price might come down to us to not the warrant itself, but the actual underlining price point may just be pinned like trading sideways for the next year, just to give them some more time to solve this issue of shares out there that are it's hard to speculate, you guys, because again, there's so many tools for these people to use, dark pool and all that stuff, ordering their shares to be able to close their position. But at the very least, I feel like they will be scared a little bit because of the underlying business doing well. They might still be waiting, because they probably have so much money right now elsewhere, because again, if they admit loss, right, they might blow themselves up or other people, who knows. So they're just going to do it slowly, I think, so that they're not going to be liable for the loss. I'm just speculating, you guys. Or, there might be a small firm out there who's like freaking out and is like, okay, I have 100 shares of shorts here. I need to buy as much as I can. I don't know. Will it be explosive like this? Who knows? But I think it's coming though. It will be fun to watch for sure. But I wonder how many people would still be here if it's gonna take another year. See, so July or April, maybe March of next year earnings would be the the true breakout that we're gonna looking for. But yeah, I think most people who's been in this company for a long time, are a long-term shareholder. They have not sold anything, right? So I know for a fact that I have more shares now, right? More share. So, and planning to accumulate more. Right now, I am down on my crypto a little bit here, down from the high. So I'm still up from below. No, not really, because I jumped into a meme coin a little bit too early. But if there's liquidity, coming back into the market, which I expect it to happen soon. And again, that's why I was saying couple weeks ago that this might happen to fake people out. Okay. And remember, the institutions are, filing like in droves, you guys, like in droves. For ETF, spot ETF, I think BlackRock just filed a primary something for Bitcoin ETFs so that they could generate income through covered call. So they are doing that right now, where they will hold Bitcoin on that ETF and sell covered call against it. So that way they could generate some income, coming in and all that stuff. So with that, with BlackRock behind it, I think that it's going to bring more and more of his kind of investor, like rich people, right? This guy is like what, $15 trillion asset under management, something ridiculous like that. So do you think that this money is not going to come to Bitcoin? Of course it's going to come to Bitcoin. But why is just Bitcoin? It's not just Bitcoin, you guys. Like, the reason why I just talk about Bitcoin is like the whole entire crypto market here. And XRP as well, obviously. So if you know Bitcoin and you don't know XRP, Ethereum, and any other chain by now, I know there's a tribalistic thing too, where people are just Bitcoin maxi, XRP maxi, and I truly think that it's going to be multi-chain, moving forward. I don't think Bitcoin is the only. It will have to compete with other, but Bitcoin is the pristine collateral for sure. It's going to become that. Right now, it's very, very new, and they're setting up for it, obviously, to, through a price discovery for Bitcoin. Was still under 350,000, right? Remember the stock to flow thing. So we're still under that. And I don't think, the bull run is over yet, because like there's no euphoria yet. Bull run never end in fear like this. Okay. But I wonder if there's a fear and greed. Let me see. I haven't looked at this yet. Okay, so all right. Okay, so right now we're in a neutral state. Yeah. Okay, neutral. Kind of a little bit of fear there. So that's daily. What about weekly? Oh, weekly is like, okay, we're extreme greed right now. No wonder it went down from here. Okay, how about monthly? It's not registering. Okay, there's no emotion there. Okay, monthly, it's like it's not enough data to calculate. That's why we were. So daily, we're still in the neutral. But weekly, okay. There's a point there. But let's see. Oh no. There we go. Anyway, play with it yourself if you wanted to. But I think this is going to be the what is it, support. I don't think it's gonna come down here and stay like this. In worst case scenario, and if you draw the fib, right, retracement, I don't know if this is the correct way to do it. Worst case scenario is down here, 50% retracement. Am I doing that right? Yeah, so $100,000 psychological level for sure, which is around 10 more percent. Okay? 10 more, so from the high to the low, about 20%. So with that withdrawal or retracement or whatever, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that Bitcoin is over, oh, it's coming to zero. Kramer, Jim Kramer, the guy, just tweet out, oh, it's over for Bitcoin, right? So you know what that means. When he tweet out, it's always the opposite. So yeah, worst case scenario, coming back down to the 100,000 level and then resume the speed again. I mean, if you look at the M2 money supply, you would see like every single global economy are printing money like crazy to try to prop themselves up. Not much there. MSDR, I know people are like, oh, it's over, right? The same exact narrative. Anytime they call it or quick to judge whether it is a like a Ponzi and all that stuff, like it's always like a rhetoric like that where companies who are trying to stay afloat, and again, that's the narrative that they put on GME as well, where they can't do anything else. That's why they put Bitcoin on their balance sheets to trick the investor to say that they have any value into it. But if the majority of people store their wealth in Bitcoin, right? And I think the trend is going that way, you guys. Like, it's not too far off to think it's not a fringe idea anymore. It's like solidified in the financial system. Banks are trying to get their hands on it. And again, I'm not saying it's going to be, within 5 years. Obviously, this is an ongoing discussion on whether it should be valuable enough for people. And the whole saying is that you buy Bitcoin on the price what you deserve to buy it at. It's actually true, right? A lot of people who saw it early on, they bought it for $1, right? It's like, well, it used to be $1, therefore it's going to be $1 one day. No, that's not how it works. The whole network has already been too big already to attack it, and all it is just you wait for people to agree with you. That's it, right? To agree with the narrative, and the network has grown this big already, and I don't think the likelihood that it would go to zero, it's less and less now, right? So, and then with all of this Bitcoin treasury company coming in, that could be a double-edged sword too. Again, if the companies cannot withstand or cannot raise money because now there's no money, coming from investor going to the MSDR point of sale, because they're selling their stock, obviously, because with these instrument, right, it's going to help them in this time where Bitcoin is going down in price like that, where people are frustrated because I guess MSDR kind of broke the first promise already, and so that kind of caused people to be a little bit nervous that Saylor just sold MSDR, like the underlying stock, to buy more Bitcoin. Now they're adding more Bitcoin to it. If Bitcoin's doing well, this company's going to do well, right? It's falling on the success of Bitcoin, but also too, they're using their power to raise money in order to buy more Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, I know like people are gonna do what they want with it. Like if you want to short this thing, right, I wouldn't recommend it because it could explode on your face anytime. But if you could time it right, it's like I'm sure with the right amount of data, you probably would know, okay, this is too overbought, too oversold, or whatever. You could time it that way. But if you think about it like in the long term, I guarantee you in 10 years or more, Bitcoin's going to be a lot higher than it is today. Okay. Now, you like $100 million might not buy you much, right? Back then, in 20 years. But you would much rather have 100 million than not 10 years from now. So we'll see how much you could buy, but as long as you have Bitcoin, fixed asset, and all that stuff. Companies that own Bitcoin, they will do much, much better than companies that are not owning Bitcoin. The narrative will shift to that when people realize that, hey, having asset that grow faster than the money printer out there will give you that. But I think GME in and of itself has that amplification through the fact that they actually make money through the operational. Now, if they truly want to accumulate Bitcoin in this manner, like slowly and methodically, anytime they earn money, just put 10%. Again, 10%. Mindlessly, you don't even need to worry about the price action. Just accumulate, Bitcoin in that way. They could go all in too. Like that would cause some disturbance, they like immediate. Think about it. If if Rand Cohen were to buy Bitcoin, $10 billion right now, right? It will give some volatility, right? That might be needed for the company. Let's say volatility to the downside, right? They make the announcement, they bought $10 billion worth of Bitcoin, the price dropped, remember? What is it called? When was this? I think it was like around here when they announced that they have some Bitcoin, the price dropped 20%, right? So imagine if they spend $10 billion to buy Bitcoin and the price dropped down to here. Do you think, think about this. Do you think more people would buy here? Even more people would buy? Or less people would buy here? Right? It's insane to me that people would just oh, that's over because now they have Bitcoin and it's trash. Okay. Bitcoin in and of itself is not trash per se, unless something's going to happen to the, network, and good luck try to attack it. I'm sure the government of any government try to shut it down. They haven't been able to do that. So yeah, good luck try to do that. That's why if you bet on that, directionally with GameStop money, right? Yeah, even though the price will come down, but the asset now, you have $10 billion worth of Bitcoin, right? $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. What can you do with that? It's not doing anything. Okay. Meanwhile, you have the business that is generating $300 million a year. Okay. So, okay. If worse come to worse to Bitcoin, assuming that they put that, then you still have $300 million worth of money coming in every year. Right? Now, I know, people, how about the debt that they have, right? Okay, well, just how long do they have for that debt? What is the convertible notes? They have so much, 2 more years, right? No. Am I tripping right now? Let's see. I should have memorized this, but goodness, mumbo jumbo. I'm telling you, I'm hungry right now. That's probably why. Okay, so so they have 5 more years to go for the convertible notes to come due. Okay, so with $300 million a year, why 300? Well, we did the math already. Just estimating, right? Worst case scenario here. 300 million a year times 5. What is that? Oh, what the hell? I think it's 1.5 billion. Yeah, it's 1.5 billion. So just the money generated from the operational income alone, not including the compounded interest from the cash. But again, assuming that we're using all the cash to buy Bitcoin, everything all in on Bitcoin, you still have this, right? So 5 years of doing business, selling more stuff, and again, assuming they're not doing anything different right now, every single year, $300 million. They're not growing, they're cutting costs, and they're not doing anything much, just growth. And so by then, what do you have? You would have had the ability to buy back your debt right there, pay it off, right, for the convertible notes holder out there. And again, that's assuming that the price of GameStop will be under the convertible note, a convertible thing. So do you actually think that the price of GameStop will never do anything except staying at this price range? It's hard to believe, right? But hey, maybe they're able to keep the price down for a long time. But I hardly doubt that, it's going to be static like that, where nobody's going to trade GameStop. Of course, people are going to trade GameStop share. It's ridiculous, right? Like, these assumptions about this company, it's just ludicrous, and like it's just so blindsided, right? It's like it's almost like a psyop type thing where people just believe in this narrative. And the opposite side too. I'm like, again, both sides this thing here. I think that the price is gonna go high. I just don't know how high it's gonna go. Can it goes to 1,000? That's my price point, right? And why 1,000? And again, when I say 1,000, because I don't know. Because I don't know all the short position out there that is in the world right now, right? So that's my own assumption. My assumption is that they have not closed, right? That the shares out there are at best hidden, right? At worst, it's just going to be explosive, right? Some quadrillions of dollars worth of derivative markets out there that we don't even get to see. I'm just speculating. But even with just the amount of shares that is being short right now that we could see, which is around 16% short interest, that's enough. That's enough to set it, for these people to at least sweat bullet a little bit here, right? How much in dollar term is that if they have to buy 16%? Let me estimate, you guys. This is estimate, okay. 16%. Wait a minute. I'm looking for amount of shares. Let's see. So 16% is 62 million shares. What is this price right now? Let's say you woke up tomorrow or Monday, they buy 60 million shares of it. That's close to $2 billion worth of, like, that's in one go. Can they do that in the dark pool? I don't know. But do they even have $2 billion to buy GameStop worth of funds? I don't think so. Nah, it's a very small amount, you guys. So, but think about what that does to the price, though, for a stock that hasn't been traded at that volume before. Right? Any type of volume you could see of, like, this is a monthly candle. Okay, 1 point something billion shares. That big one. What else? Let's do a weekly. give you a bit better. Okay, so a week, close to 1 billion share there, 1 billion shares there. All of it are sales, right? And I wonder, I think this comes from like, you know, the ATMs that we did. So all of that are company shares and people just absorb it. People just absorb it. And then these big ones are, I think those are the convertible notes, right? Convertible notes, both of them. So every time you see any volume is coming from the company, right? Retail hasn't been sold. I don't think so. Not enough of it anyway. And if they do, it's probably being absorbed by, you know, people who wants to buy into this company. Crazy. But anyway, with the warrant, I don't know. Again, most of the time, they might find another way to to get away from this too, to get away with this. Or not. Who knows? Who knows? You know, maybe we see something explosive. But I think I saw Rowan Kitty. I'm not sure if he's coming back, you guys. It's hard to believe he's not coming back. maybe that's what we need. You know? Let's see. Yeah, I feel like the whole world is watching this. even though we're getting so much distraction. Let me see. What is
Great that the price. Hell, they haven't. This is the thing. It's great that the price is at 30 already. There hasn't even been any major business related announcement. Maybe you think that there isn't any, but just imagine if there is. Hell,
Yeah, it's tough, you know. There's a lot of business announcements out here that are not being recognized, I feel. And that's actually very encouraging, because that means that I think the rest of the world is distracted. That they still think that this company is not doing much at all. So I think Larry also like had some. Where did it go? Saw earlier another clip somewhere. Already. Hold on, you guys. Okay. This gentleman here.
Diamond for Normie. Come on, everybody. It's fucking teeth! It's fucking teeth! It's fucking teeth! Down!
Whoa, that's crazy.
Oh my god! Normie, you! Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
I don't know if this is stage or anything, but the fact that people are getting engagement on that too, yeah, that's gonna be so much revenue coming in, profits, real profits here, not some crazy conspiracy or anything, right? You could see on the balance sheets for sure. Okay, you guys, I think
up every single day. Some people want something to go up every single day, every single week. Up. It's not going up. No, it's like, yo, just chill. Some people want something to go.
Don't you think he's building up a position right now quietly somewhere around 32, maybe 32 for next week. All right. I think that's all I have, you guys. I will go to eat a little bit. And I don't know, maybe I'll come back later. Who knows? If not, yeah. You guys have a good weekend.